Morning. Welcome to the Bucks County Board of Commissioners meeting for June 7th, 2023. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. All right, we have a few presentations this morning to honor different people and parts of our community, as we usually do. We're going to begin with Commissioner Marseglia reading a proclamation for Child Welfare Professionals Appreciation Week.
Thank you, and I do see we have some child welfare professionals out there, if y'all want to wave. Whereas the week of June 5th through 9th, 2023 has been proclaimed as Child Welfare Professionals Appreciation Week throughout the Commonwealth in recognition of efforts of child welfare professionals serving the children of Pennsylvania. And whereas every day in Bucks County, local children are at risk of abuse and neglect or have been removed from their homes due to such abuse and neglect. And whereas child welfare professionals take on the challenging mission of investigating child abuse, assessing child safety, and providing services that allow children to remain safely in their homes or to return home as expeditiously as possible. Whereas Bucks County Children and Youth Service Agency is tasked under state law with receiving and investigating reports of child abuse and neglect and providing services and care to children and families in Bucks County. And whereas in 2022, Bucks County Children and Youth provided in-home services to 3,322 children and 1,139 families. So now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, proclaim June 5th through 9th, 2023 as Child Welfare Professionals Appreciation Week throughout the County of Bucks. And in so doing, we share our gratitude and admiration for the important and difficult work performed every day by the excellent professionals at Bucks County Children and Youth Social Service Agency.
Okay, thank you. And we had no way of March McEwen here, a fearless leader, and her group of children, youth workers, and
as I always say, it's just me. I hang out in my office, but these are the people that do the work. Come on up here.
It takes a village, right?
Everybody here? Almost. They're coming. I'm going to steal a little something from the United States Postal Service. Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night, nor smoke from Canada stays these caseworkers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. These people are out every day, 24/7, weekends, holidays, trying to help families, working with kids, supporting families. And we appreciate them. We appreciate you for appreciating them more than we can say. And I thank you to my staff, to my deputy director here, Rob, to all of the management and all the caseworkers and all the other staff who are here. Thank you very much.
thank you. Thank you.
Only one.
Yeah, yeah. That's not, yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I think our district attorney would like to say something.
Yeah, thank you. I'd also like to commend children and youth. It's very nice that they got recognized today, but their work really goes unsung 364 days out of the year, and they do a tremendous job. We work oftentimes with them, and they are often on the front lines. And I just wanted to say that I'm very, very grateful for our partnership. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so, as you can probably tell from some of the rainbow ties and scarves and pins around the room, it's a recognition, obviously, of Pride Month. So it's my honor to read a proclamation. Whereas each year Pride Month honors the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan, which was a tipping point for the gay liberation movement in the United States. And whereas for more than half a century since, the LGBTQ+ community, during the month of June, has held Pride celebrations of evolving size and scope throughout the world. Whereas Bucks County is the proud home of many such celebrations, including for the past 20 years, the New Hope Pride Parade, which has drawn more than 15,000 people annually to the New Hope area. And whereas despite broad strides in the direction of justice and equality, many in the LGBTQ+ community still endure hardship and mistreatment from those who would see social progress undone. And whereas in solidarity with the LGBTQ+ community and in recognition of the month-long Pride celebration, the county will fly the Pride flag over the administration building courtyard throughout the month of June. Now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, hereby proclaim June 2023 LGBTQ+ Pride Month throughout the County of Bucks. In doing so, we commend the New Hope Celebrates for continuing a beloved festival that brings people together in an inclusive and welcoming space. We encourage all Bucks County residents to celebrate our friends, family, neighbors who are in the LGBTQ+ community and to join us in reaffirming our support for the cause of equality for all people. And I know we have a few people here from New Hope Celebrates tonight. I think, there he is, Bob Swikos, Newtown Borough Councilman, is going to be speaking.
It's quite obvious that the rainbow has landed in this room. And this is the pot of gold we have. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bob Swikos, and on behalf of myself, New Hope Celebrates, the Bucks County LGBT community, and its many, many allies, may I express our appreciation to the members of the Bucks County Board of Commissioners for their action today and the proclamation acknowledging the programs of New Hope Celebrates. With us today are Melissa Patterson, the president of New Hope Celebrates, Roger Green, one of its board members, Jerry Delovich, a former member of the New Hope Borough Council and president of Upriver Productions, which produced 2 award-winning short films about New Hope and its acceptance of diversity among the members of the LGBT community and those who want to be members. Everyone's welcome. Jerry facilitated the passage in New Hope of the first comprehensive LGBT non-discrimination ordinance in a Pennsylvania borough. We also have today Marlene Prey, Director of Planned Parenthood's Keystone Rainbow Room, which provides programs to LGBT youth with facilities in Doylestown and now in Langhorne. We have Barbara Simmons, former Director of the Peace Center, a nonprofit organization addressing conflict and violence, and who's an active supporter of the Rainbow Room programs. I'm an attorney with Curtin & Hefner, which has served as pro bono legal counsel for both New Hope Celebrates and FACT of Bucks County since 2003. FACT provides funds to assist individuals and families addressing issues of HIV and AIDS. Curtin & Hefner provides legal services to individuals, parents, and businesses within the LGBT community and its allies, and it's proud to do so. I'm an elected member of the Newtown Borough Council and its first openly member of the LGBT community to serve in this position since 1683, when New Hope was first founded by William Penn. New Hope Celebrates was founded in 2003, and this year is celebrating its 20th anniversary as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Its mission is to bring people of all varieties of diversity and identity together to acknowledge and promote diversity and acceptance. We are not unequal, we are all equal, and we welcome all members in this community to share with our programs. Through its operation as New Hope Celebrates, History, it has preserved and exhibited countless artifacts of the LGBT history in Bucks County. It also developed the Artists and Authors YouTube programs. New Hope Celebrates has a 12-month calendar of events which provide safe spaces for all. Its premier event is in May, when we have a week-long Pride Festival with the only United States parade starting in one state, New Jersey, and completing its route in New Hope, Pennsylvania. Thousands of people come to the parade, and we thank members of this board for marching with us. The parade is led by a 100-foot flag, which you can see on our YouTube site, carried by the LGBT youth, quickly followed by the elected officials, candidates, which have included members of this board, the United States Congress, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, the Pennsylvania State and House of Representative members, and numerous officials from New Jersey and other places, all of whom accept each individual with equality. With legislation and education policies in recent years growing the target of the LGBT community, it is now more important than ever for all of us to be seen, heard, and supported, and to be read about. Books help children, guns don't. We are grateful for this recognition for the diversity, inclusiveness, and acceptance of Bucks County. With support such as this, we will all have hope for our future. I would now like to have Melissa join me for some present giving.
In gratitude for this proclamation, we've brought some presents for y'all. We have some of our Pride t-shirts from this year, which celebrate our 20th anniversary, as well as our New Hope Celebrates banner and a progress flag.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Those are very nice.
Thank you on behalf of all of us.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, and please, you come forward, give this.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, appreciate that. Going to boot up here a little bit. We're going to move on to public comments. Just one item we noticed this morning for the Youth Center, item 14. In the agenda that I think is printed in the back, as well as apparently the agenda that's was published online. For some reason, the details were dropped off. So I'll just give those in a second. If people want to get turned to 14, there's only one, it's 14A. So if you want to take a look at that, I'll give you the details in a second. So Youth Center, Honeywell Building Solutions, Fort Washington, PA. This is to approve a contract to provide building control upgrades. Building controls upgrade. This contract runs from May 17th of this year to 12/31 of this year. The amount is $52,550. County's responsibility is 50%. Again, building controls upgrade, Honeywell, you'll see a similar item under corrections because we have contract with both. And so essentially it's just doing upgrades to the building controls, $52,550. County's responsibility is 50%. So apologize for that sort of technical glitch when that got uploaded. For some reason, it didn't get transferred. So, all right, so moving into public comment. Just waiting for this again to reboot here. Okay, first item, of course, is on agenda. Items only. Robert McLean.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm looking at item 3, Children and Youth, Christ's Home for Children. I know the people down there. I applaud your funding of those services. As I look to number 7, Family Service Association of Bucks County, it says funding for street medicine. I'm not familiar with that, but what does that mean? Looking at number 9, specifically B, Westfield Insurance. There was a claim settlement and an authorization to execute a release. What was that claim for? Number 13, Workforce and Economic Development. All of these seem to be funded from the American Rescue Plan. Are there any funds remaining in unspent American Rescue Plan funds that can be taken back by the federal government to reduce our debt ceiling debacle? Finally, number 5, regular agenda. It says here, approve resolution increasing funding in mental health budget to make up for past shortcomings in prior administrations. What shortcomings are they? And that concludes my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ed Mackhouse.
Edward Mackhouse from Buckingham, a scientist, rocket scientist, former teacher, 1970s. Addressing item 7E, concerns with the homelessness. Approve $120,000 to assist with strategic plan, diversity, equity, and inclusion action plan, support response to homelessness. My experience with homelessness, I see people homeless, children on the street, mostly because they have trouble with their parents. They don't get along with their parents. So I like the inclusion to suggestions. I'm glad you have this money, but how should it be used for inclusion? We have Pride. They were talking about today, Pride, LGBTQ community. Gays have advanced a lot. They're a lot safer now. But now we have Pride. What should we have Pride in? Pride should be in what we're doing to help other people. So pride, arrogance, we should, in diversity, inclusion, we should include not only the LGBTQ community, but gays against groomers. The gays against groomers, like, I'm Jewish, that doesn't mean I like all Jews. Some are better than others, in my opinion. Like, some may use their money for different purposes. The Gays Against Groomers oppose the mutilation and medication of minors, drag in pride events involving children, propagate youth with LGBTQ media, gender and queer theory being taught in the classrooms. So we need experience. I have buttons to represent different people. Chloe Cole was abused by the medical profession, and she suffers permanent injuries. And when they took away her breast. Erin Friday spent years saving her daughter. She was caught up with this stuff, and she saved her daughter, so she doesn't want to take her breast away. Riley Gaines worked all her life to be a good swimmer, and Leah Thomas, who was 400th in men, took away her rights to be the number one, and she worked all her life to be a swimmer. And she was assaulted by these pro-pride people in San Francisco. They beat up her, and other women are beaten up, like Elizabeth Gomes in New York. They put her eye out. And then the male, a real male, Daniel Penny, who protected people on the subway, he's charged with murder. And so every day, people in the subway are injured and hurt because they support the murderers and not the innocent people.
All right, thank you. Just a reminder, agenda items, obviously, agenda comments should be on agenda items. Andy Warren?
Morning, all. I take great pride in being here. I don't have a banner for my pride, but I'm proud to be in front of the commissioners. Item 6A, are the commissioners giving up authority when they, as it says, to execute the authority of the commissioners? Is that for things under $25,000? What are just the parameters of that? Item 7E. The purpose says inclusion action plan to support response to homelessness and COVID-19. COVID-19 from 2 years ago, we're still responding to that. What exactly is that inclusion include? Item 9A, just a comment, interesting law firms in that program. 13, A, B, C reads to do funding to provide employer training. Employer training using COVID money, is it to include COVID people in this program? What is the funding to provide? And item 5 or 15, 5A, is that past shortcoming, was that county administration or state administration? Those were my questions.
Okay, thank you. Lori Katz?
Good morning. First question is 2A through F. When the county is paying 0% to 3.9% of a service, like in 2E, who is supplementing the cost? Where is it coming from for the behavioral health? Question on 3B and C. There is no amount and no time frame. It's located in Norristown and Philly. What is the business associate agreement? 7C. What do the acronyms CDBG and HOME stand for? And what is the specific location scheduled for demolition? 8B, there's no amount listed there, and I was wondering, isn't this in an employee package? 13A, B, and C, what is the focus of the ARPA-funded employer training? And then I would like to go to 7E. 7E says that the county will be spending more than $120,000 to impose a strategic action plan to bring diversity, equity, and inclusion to our homeless population. Can you explain the steps and goal of this action plan? How will this $120,000 ensure our homeless achieve great equity? Please explain if white people will be excluded because they're not diverse enough to receive assistance. What does diversity mean here? What is the origin of the money? I also have a question about inclusion. I noticed that presentation B today is about June being Pride Month. In May, you talked about Older Americans Month, Community Action Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, and whatever AAPI month is, which Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, I believe. Yesterday was D-Day. Did you know that Military Appreciation Month was initially recognized by a resolution in the US Senate in 1999 and traditionally takes place every year throughout the entire month of May? It was established to remind Americans to celebrate this patriotic month that pays tribute to those who have sacrificed so much for our freedom so that everybody can be included. Why did you commissioners not recognize them? Don't they deserve a crosswalk to be painted in Doylestown to celebrate all that they sacrificed for us? I think so. I wonder if any other Bucks County citizens agree. And to comment on the pride comment that the gentleman had made, rainbow ties do not protect children.
Beth Curcio.
Good morning. 3A, are these services being provided for legal citizens? 6A, what type of personal property is the county looking to sell and to whom? And how do they advertise it? Do they advertise it to the public or just within the county? 7E, DEI, this needs to be addressed. What are the criteria of these homeless people? And what about, the pandemic? Joe Biden said the pandemic is over. So what does that have to do with 7E? 9A, is the 33% split between the three firms, or does the 33% go to the county? And is there a cap on those expenses? 12A, what are the miscellaneous items? Thank you.
Okay, those are the names under public comment. Just addressing some of these, and there are duplications, obviously, in here. Question about street medicine. Street medicine is essentially sending professionals out, nurses mostly, to work with homeless people, literally going out and making sure they're as healthy as we can make them, offering them whatever services that are available to them. In many cases, they're not accepting them, but at least we're providing some kind of medical support for people who don't have access to it. That's street medicine. Trying to think here. I'm going to be hopping around because I was just writing stuff down as it came in. A question about 9B, which was the Westfield Insurance approved claims settlement. That is for, last year there was an individual who was operating a vehicle on Court Street and backed into or ran into the wall that's the brick wall that's on county property. It's still in very much disrepair. We were arguing, like many homeowners who have had fires or other damage to their homes or even cars, you don't automatically get what you probably deserve when your insurance company first comes out and makes an offer. So it has remained untouched, that wall, because we've been fighting with the insurance company basically to give us the money we need to fix it. So this is the money to fix that wall. So they were going to give us about a third of this originally, and we told them that was not acceptable. So we've been fighting to get that. 13 questions about, a couple questions about 13, so I'll try and address all of these. The first question about unspent money. No, the county does not have any unspent money that will be going back to the federal government as part of the debt ceiling agreement that was, the bipartisan debt ceiling agreement that was signed last week. The training that's happening is basically we're offering training to any employer if they have any training they need for any of their workers that they think will help their workers. Could be leadership training, could be job skills training, could be any kind of training. We're going to be offering classes through these three different entities that they can, avail themselves up. It's not free, but we're sort of, we're helping to sort of set it up. So it is obviously, things last. The worst pandemic in 100 years isn't over simply because, the president, issued an end to, the emergency, the national emergency operations that were going on. There's still impacts on people's health, as we know that. There's still impacts on people's financial stability, and there will be for some time. Let me check these off as we're going through here. 13. A couple questions about 15, the shortcomings in mental health funding. That regards essentially cuts that were made to mental health funding from the state, largely through Governor Corbett. Cuts that were, how much was cut? Was it 11 million? Yeah. How much do you remember exactly? Yeah, it's somewhere around $11 million in short. Yeah, it goes back a while, but it's never been filled. That funding has never caught up to where it should be. And obviously the needs, mental health needs, as people have said many times, are greater now than they used to be. So that state funding that all counties typically got, Governor Shapiro has made a push to drastically increase and really close that hole that's been there for some time. So we're very hopeful that when we pass this, the state legislators who represent us here in Bucks County will be supportive of that effort. It's 15. Questions about number 6A. This is auction items. Essentially, the county typically has things that we put out for auction we don't have a use for anymore. A lot of times it's vehicles that have reached the end of their life. Could be some vehicle, could be a piece of equipment that General Services has used and it's really no good anymore, but we'll put it out for auction if somebody might want to buy it for parts. We essentially authorize that to happen. What this is doing is really codifying something that was never codified before. So this is really allowing General Services and the COO to be the ones who actually kind of, agree when the bids come in. And they come in. Is they pen bid? How do they come in? Is it pen bid usually, or? No, it's a system. Okay, yeah, we do put them out publicly. But townships do this as well. Put out property. People want to put a bid on it, wherever the highest bid is. We're sort of authorizing staff to basically be the ones to sort of sign off on that, so it doesn't have to come back to the commissioners to vote on every single person who had a winning bid on some old car that Corrections used for 10 years and has 200,000 miles on it and is falling apart. So that's 6A. A couple questions about the housing plan. This is essentially a comprehensive plan to help the county address homelessness across the county and to help us make sure that we're doing it in a way that is non-discriminatory. So regardless of where this homelessness is happening, regardless of why someone might be homeless, regardless of who they are, we want to make sure we're creating a plan that is efficient and effective and can really do the job that we need it to do and help us lay a groundwork for this county to address the homelessness problem across this county. Anything you want to add to that, Ms. McKevitt? No? Okay. All right. So that's 7E. Who covers costs? If you see the county at 0% or 3.9%, that's either federal grant money that comes in or federal money or state money that fills that gap. I thought we've said that many times before, but apologize if we haven't. 3B and C, a business association agreement. This essentially is with two entities that we already work with, but this business associate agreement is making sure that putting their understanding of following HIPAA in line with our following HIPAA and just sort of codifying that to make sure we're on the same page when it comes to protecting health information and privacy of the people who are being served. Bless you. CDBG, question about 7C. CDBG stands for Community Development Block Grant. That's federal money that comes into the county for use to help improve areas of the county that oftentimes are economically disadvantaged. The area that we're talking about here was a former Catholic school that the Archdiocese closed several years ago, St. Thomas Aquinas School in Croydon. That school has been vacant for a long time. Habitat for Humanity has successfully purchased the property. They'll be tearing the school down and building 3 homes there. And home, I can never remember home. What's home stand for? Yeah. Yeah, it stands for something. I can't remember the acronym. Housing, no? No? Yeah. No, and Wood on Jeff Fields isn't here. Yeah, but it's essentially also money, this federal grant money that comes in for us to use to help people who are in search of housing. 8B, the agreement with Mr. Paston, who is the acting clerk of courts, because the state government needs to appoint a new clerk of courts. The previous clerk of courts, Mr. Brian Monroe, is now a state representative. So that position has been vacant since December. Is our understanding. We have learned that the state government will not appoint anybody this year to that position. And so Mr. Paston, who is the first deputy, essentially has to do both jobs for the remainder of this year until a new clerk of courts is elected and sworn in next January. So this is essentially kind of recognizing the fact that he's doing two jobs and giving him a couple extra days for him to take it when he needs it. Home doesn't stand for anything. So 9A, the 33% and how that's divided up in contingency. Ms. Fitzpatrick, do you want to address that? Is that the question, I believe, was, is it 33% split up among everybody, or just do each of them get 33? Is there a cap on it, things like that?
Great question. The 33% is the maximum amount that the three law firms taken together could receive on a contingent basis. So that's only if there's a recovery for the county. In the event that there's no recovery, none of the law firms are paid money.
Right. Right. And 9A actually does fit well into what this board has done since we came in, which is being more assertive and affirmative in litigation. This county healthcare program is self-funded, meaning that we provide the funding for health insurance for our employees and their families. It is pretty well known that insulin in the United States, which is not new, it is not groundbreaking innovation over the past year or two. It has been around for a very, very long time, over 100 years, I believe, insulin has. And yet, insulin in the United States of America costs much, much, much more than it does in pretty much any other country on the planet. And so this is essentially looking to take the companies that produce insulin and find out exactly if there's any kind of activity going on that would be costing this county and taxpayers more money than it should. And so that's what this is looking for. This is a national program that's going on, so we're gladly joining this to help do what I think, I know the President's been talking a lot about trying to bring insulin costs down, so that's something that we're focused on as well. 12A was another one. Oh, this is regards uniforms for the sheriffs. The approved contract to purchase uniforms and miscellaneous items. I don't know if you want to comment on what the miscellaneous items are. That was the question, what the miscellaneous items are. Mr. Sheriff Horan.
We went to a new company. The contract for the old company ran out, so we bid it, and a new company was awarded the contract. Miscellaneous items are leather goods, handcuffs, the things you'd see on a sheriff's belt. That's miscellaneous items.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. A comment about Military Appreciation Month. This county has numerous monuments to World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, modern wars on this property specifically. We had a Veterans or a Memorial Day event just on this property just a few weeks ago, marking that. There are, by my count, about 32 American flags on this property as we speak, of varying sizes. And in addition, we did dedicate a bridge last month to a Vietnam veteran who was killed in action. That is part of a new program we have started, this board has started, to dedicate county bridges to fallen Bucks County residents who lost their lives in Vietnam. So I think I'll stack ourselves up in terms of military appreciation pretty high in comparison to others. So thank you. I think that's all the items that were addressed. We'll move on with the consent agenda. We have minutes from May 17th, 2023. Any comments or questions regarding minutes? Okay, we have resolutions 1 through 14A. Assuming there are no comments or questions. If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes and resolutions under the consent agenda?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, item 15, we've talked about this a little bit, but when it comes to, under the regular agenda, okay, approving a resolution in support of state efforts to increase funding in the mental health budget of the state to make up for past shortcomings in prior administrations. Did we touch on this, or did we want to talk about this, or no?
I mean, I feel like you did a good job already discussing it. I believe that we are 41% down from where we were before. So it's very difficult to fund mental health treatment if the state doesn't keep up with the amount that's needed. And I think we've done a really good job in the state and the country in terms of reducing stigma, but that means there are more people requesting treatment and the state has not funded things. So we are asking them to take a look around and get it up to where it was supposed to be.
And again, just a reminder, as I said many times during, I'm just trying to think when I was in Harrisburg, 8 years of Governor Wolf and 4 years during the Governor Corbett administration, there was a proposal to cut the line items for mental health, drug and alcohol, homelessness by 20%, and it was quite a battle, and I was part of that battle. We were fortunately and unfortunately able to get it down to 10%. So that has been at least 10 years where the funding for those line items for mental health, homelessness, drug and alcohol, and people with all kinds of disabilities has been cut 10%, which I believe was $80 million at that time, because those line items were about $800 million. So for over those 10 years, the counties have been actually cut $800 million in funding for those critically important issues. So I know they're working on the budget up in Harrisburg right now. I think there was actually a budget passed in the House yesterday and sent over to the Senate. I can't imagine that that's going to be the final budget, but I know there were a lot of increases in that budget. So hopefully, and I always say this, compromise is not a bad or dirty word. So I'm hoping during the discussions between the governor, the House, and the Senate that more money can be added into this critically important issue and some of these other critically important issues. And certainly, education should be part of that discussion as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I said earlier, I said $11 million cut. I meant percent. It was 10% cut. So this board of commissioners did send a letter to all of our legislators, state senators and state reps, asking them to make sure they can do everything they can, fight for as much as they can for this funding. This resolution, it was on a conference call on Monday. The County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania is very interested in getting this resolution so they can send it to other counties. So I'll I'll ask rather our Deputy Chief Operating Officer and Chief Clerk to make sure they get that, because I know you have some connections to those guys out there in Harrisburg still. So I appreciate if you could send that on, assuming we pass this. But so that's where we are with the resolution. So that's item 15. Assuming there are no more comments, is there a motion to approve item 15, the resolution asking for an increase in funding in mental health?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, budget adjustments. Mr. Buscola?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. There are 3 budget adjustments for 2022. Adjustment 51 is to adjust the Sheriff's Department and recognize additional revenue to close out the 22 budget. Adjustment 52 is for self-insurance. These 2 budget adjustments will have an impact on the general fund of $122,000. Adjustment 53 is to recognize the savings that the American Rescue Plan is to cover expenditures within the operating budget of $25 million. The county is going to transfer that $25 million to miscellaneous capital projects funds to cover capital projects that are going to be started and completed in 23, 24, and 25. Mainly the Lower Bucks Government Service Center construction and other capital projects that the county is undertaking. There are 6 budget adjustments for 2023. Adjustment number 3 is to establish the opioid remediation program fund. The county received settlement funds for year 1 in 2022. It is expected that the county is going to spend $4 million of that settlement money in 2023. And then going forward for 2024 through the balance of the 18 years, that new fund will be part of the operating budget and approved through the operating budget each year. Adjustments 4, 5, 6, and 7 is the carry forward of the capital project budgets. The capital project budgets are estimates for 2023 based on work in progress. Once the 2022 financial report is completed, I complete these budget adjustments to true up those actual carry forwards of work in progress on all the capital projects that the county is undertaking. Adjustment number 8 is a RACP grant for the Bucks County Biotechnology Center. The commissioners approved that pass-through grant in 2020. All of that work is completed in the Biotech Center, which is in Buckingham, and that we are drawing down on that money, and we'll be passing through that money for the construction of that project in Buckingham. And those 6 for 2023 have no impact on the general fund.
Okay. Comments or questions from Mr. Buscola? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve all of the aforementioned budget adjustments?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Personnel actions, we have the commissioners list. Any questions on the personnel action?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I will make note just of one thing. It's not on our commissioners list, but we have gotten some questions about the list as it applies to the DA's office and some increases happening there. Those are increases covered by grants. And so the district attorney has managed his money wisely and is able to make those adjustments to his lists. Okay, motion made and seconded for the commissioners list personnel actions. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Board appointments, we have one reappointment, Celia Sharp, to the Bucks County Human Relations Council. This is a term that will end June 1st, 2026. Is there a motion for that reappointment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Other civics, for Animal Lifeline, $1,000. Big Brothers Big Sisters, $12,000. The Bristol Riverside Theater, $30,000. Gather Place Museum, $500. Gilda's Club, $4,000. Goal, $2,000. Is there a motion to make those contributions?
So moved.
Second, I would just like to add, too, with Goal, Ed Armstrong was one of the originators of the Goal program, and he passed away several weeks ago, so we are remembering his family and friends and the members of Goal.
Yeah, and for those who are curious, GOAL stands for Greenbelt Overhaul Alliance of Levittown. It is essentially a group that goes around the various green belts, green areas that were constructed when Levittown was constructed, and does cleanups, make sure that the canals or the streams and drainage areas are clean and free of debris, and does other kind of environmental maintenance on those. So, and it's been around for a long time, so yeah. All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chief Operating Officer's report, Ms. McKevitt.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to yield some of my time to our Director of Parks and Recreation, Angie Nagel, to give us an update on the Tohickon Pool, if I may.
Thank you. So Parks is excited to get summer started for all of the county residents. However, we're still in need of lifeguards and 2 managers at the Tohickon Valley Pool. For those that aren't familiar, The public pool is located in Tohickon Valley Park in Pipersville. And if you have not had a chance to visit the location, it's simply beautiful. The pool is located in the center of the park. There's a playground, there's trails. It's a great place to visit. So to make that happen and to be able to open this summer, we need lifeguards and several managers. If you have any teens or if you're looking for a position, we would love for you to contact us. You can apply on the Bucks County job website. You can email the Parks Department directly at Parks and Recreation. You can DM us on social media. You can call the Parks office. If you connect with us, we will call you right back. There's some selling points that I think are important to share. So the county covers the cost of a lifeguard certification. If you're not certified, we will cover the cost and find you a class. We are issuing referral credits. If you send someone to us and we hire them, we'll credit you park credits. We're offering a summer parks pass for all employees. So if you come work for us, you'll have access to all park amenities for the summer. And we've also increased our rates. So we hope these things will incentivize folks to come think about a summer position in the Parks Department. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. And we did have this problem last year. It continues to this year. Last year, I think we didn't open until July 1st. We would like to get it open before then. So if you know anyone, please reach out to us. To add to that, our Planning Commission will host their third out of 5 household hazardous waste events on June 24th. This one is scheduled to be at the Central Bucks South High School. That's 1100 Folly Road in Warrington Township. And then also our county's Office of Workforce and Economic Development is continuing their WED Talks series on June 14th at 9 o'clock. This session will host marketing experts who will provide information and guidance on branding and communications for established businesses and emerging businesses. It's a virtual session, and you can register on pacareerlink.com. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Solicitor's report, Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just one item to report. The board held its standing executive session on Tuesday, June 6th with staff and legal counsel to discuss personnel and real estate matters and also to receive confidential legal advice about both pending and prospective litigation. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. All right, public comment. Mr. McLean.
Robert McLean, Milford Township. Quote from C.S. Lewis: "Unchastity, anger, greed, drunkenness are mere flea bites in comparison. It was pride that the devil became the devil. Pride leads to every other vice. It is the complete anti-God state of mind. Innumerable lies have fed our pride." I'll just name 4 of them. Line number 1, you can be anything you want to be. The chances of anyone becoming president, a quantum physicist, or an NFL player are slim. Line number 2, you are a process of blind random mutations. You have no innate purpose or meaning. Line number 3, people are basically good. I guess that's why you have the sheriff, the DA, your county legal counsel, and your head of prisons over here. Line number 4, there is no such thing as absolute truth. If there is no absolute truth, there is nothing to stand for, nothing we are responsible for, no thought required, no information necessary. No wonder we are proud. Pornography, heterosexual promiscuity, homosexuality, and the like are born of the desire to ignore our Creator and write our own moral code. Scripture, the Word of God, is not just a truth, but is truth itself. Scripture says, "For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God." Romans 3:23. "For God sent his Son into the world, not to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved." John 3:17. To escape the wrath of God and the curse of death, we are to repent of our sins, such as pride, and trust in Jesus Christ alone to save us. Thank you.
Ed Mackhouse?
Edward Mackhouse. I support what the previous speaker said, but I'm Jewish and I find there's other ways to serve God and not just to say Jesus, but I believe, blessed the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the world. I believe in Moms for Liberty. It's a dedicated woman who believes in protecting the life, liberty, and right to happiness of our children. I believe that there's members of the LGBT community seem to show little respect or concern for the rights for privacy, safety, or fairness in sports in regard to the treatment of girls and women, and call those who have concern for these people haters. I believe that Riley Gaines is a woman, outstanding woman swimmer who deserves recognition. I believe Leah Thomas, the transgender so-called woman, is being used by the $11 billion transgender medical industry, which gets on the average $1.5 million for every troubled minor child they can talk about transgendering. So the most gays I know are good, like Gays Against Grooming. I believe that a legitimate gay would not want to have violate the rights and safety of women and privacy by having a transgender man come in with his genitals sticking out and being excited, which is in sororities and stuff. And the top song is now Target's Children, and that's a top song. And so I think most of the Budweiser and the Denver Broncos, I think the people have spoken, and they don't believe in this woke agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Andy Warren?
Actually, I believe in a lot of what the previous two speakers said, but it may surprise you somewhat. I'm here to say that I also believe in the points that perhaps the board was making, not the wording, but the point. For example, and this I just questioned, 8B, I didn't realize that Mr. Paston, is he getting out of class salary? Shouldn't he, Madam Solicitor? But that seems to me if he's doing the work, you ought to get the pay. Anyone ought to. And the other point that I agree philosophically with is 15, item 15. I absolutely categorically disagree with the way you phrased it. What you're talking about when the state mandates that counties do something, that's an unfunded mandate. To say that a past Republican governor cut X millions of dollars and therefore that administration was in error, that's not, the state legislator, for crying out loud, passed the budget, and let's get the politics out of it. Absolutely, the State Association of County Commissioners ought to be railing against unfunded mandates from the state. Absolutely, but don't say it's because some other administration did it. We're going to go back to everything that's cut and demand that it's paid for. Unfunded mandates, absolutely.
Thank you. Laurie Katz?
Evening town halls. You can offer this right here in this room and make yourselves available for public conversations with Bucks County citizens. This forum that you have set up here doesn't offer conversation. Bucks County wants and needs this, especially as our country has gone over a financial cliff into a financial galaxy, and our Constitution is being shredded by the politicians of this country. There are many topics that our community is concerned about and wants to discuss, but they work during the day. You're capable of changing this platform to include discussion or create an evening town hall just like BCWSA did. Why do you refuse and make excuses? Our citizens have publicly asked more than 15 times here over the past 2 years, and you've made excuses and refused. What are you afraid of? What are you politicians afraid of? The truth is they don't want conversation. They want their parties want dictation. That is why they offer no candidate choice. We need to wake up, Bucks. Hear me clearly. There are two parties here, we the people and the politicians. Their agenda is one of division. The DC agenda that they promote is marching orders they get from our governor to impose on us. Don't be fooled. Let's come together as a community, support local businesses and farmers, and have conversations with everyone you come in contact with. We can figure this out without them. I see no real leaders sitting on that dais. I see useful tools. If you put 100 black ants and 100 red ants in a jar, nothing will happen. But if you shake the jar hard, the ants will start killing each other because the red ants consider the black ants their enemies and the black ants consider the red ants their enemies. The real enemy is the one who shakes the jar. The same thing happens in human society, so before we attack each other, we should think about who is shaking the jar. Abortion, election security, illegal immigration, political prisoners, gender dissonance, rainbow rooms, Second Amendment rights, normalizing pedophilia, boys and girls sports, that's right.
Thank you. Beth Curcio.
The commissioners are at it again, taking away our freedoms. They are once again using the taxpayers' money to appeal their case against the mother who filed the right to know. This is the government using the people's money against the people. They are purposely trying to intimidate, bankrupt, and cause mental stress to citizens of Bucks County. Enough is enough. Can you just imagine what's in these emails? They masked your children and shut down their schools. They forced experimental drugs to be injected into their employees' bodies, all part of a pandemic. They still refuse to hold town halls and evenings to include citizens because it's a hassle to them. They make over $100,000. This room is set up on the taxpayers' dollars. They need to use it. We live in evil times where our government has turned on good people and promotes evil. It is not about party, it's about saving our republic. The truth always comes out in God's timing. May God have mercy on those who continue to spread evil and be part of it. I'd also like to know if the taxpayers paid for your rainbow little ribbons and everything else. The true meaning of the rainbow was God keeps his promises. Are rainbows, are they protecting our children? No. They're causing chaos to their little brains. They can't just go out and play. They have to be indoctrinated by groomers who have been set up by the Marxists. Trump lowered insulin for the people to a very low amount. The Biden administration rescinded that on December 23rd, 2020. It's time for all good citizens, even those employed by the county, to stop the madness that's going on. Our federal government was hijacked. We all know it. We watch these commissioners and they smirk and they smirk.
Okay, right. Commissioner comments? Commissioner DiGirolamo?
I have no comments for today, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Commissioner Marseglia?
Just briefly, John 13:34, love one another. Thank you.
Thank you. So, just want to wish everybody, all the fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, and anybody who fills that role in the life of a child, no matter how old or young that child may be. You never stop being a mother, you never stop being a father. So this is our last meeting before Father's Day, so I wish everybody, all those people who fill that role, happy Father's Day. I thank our staff, as always, for all the work they put in to putting these meetings together. Our COO. Okay, our next meeting will also happen after Juneteenth. So we wish everybody, happy Juneteenth, a good celebration of a moment in our history when we had expansions of freedom. So thank you for, again, thank you for a good meeting, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.